Hey everybody, Ryan here, bringing you yet another StarCraft commentary. It's going to be set 2 of the Woongjin Stars against the OGN Sparkyz that was played a couple of days ago. We're doing a pretty decent match here. We're going to have a free of the Stars against Tazza of the OGN Sparkyz. And Tazza's actually a very interesting player to look forward to, because the first game he ever played as a professional StarCraft player, he beat Medusa just after he came back from winning the MSL, which was, for those of you that know, a huge-ass, big PvP matchup. Semi-final as well as the final, so it was very interesting in that regard. But Tazza is in PvP right now 50% with 1 win and 1 loss. Free is about 50% as well. He's played a lot more games though, so we're going to see. I think his experience gives him a big advantage here. But I look forward to seeing how this new kid faces against Free here. This should be good. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. This is going to be on Medusa, 3-player map. That should actually be pretty good. We're going to have Free in teal at 7 o'clock, and that means we're going to have Tazza at 3 o'clock in red. Medusa is it's a map that protoss really like. It's because it allows you to set up a mineral only behind your base fairly easily and gives you a quick economic edge. You don't have to. You can get a quick economic lead or a quick economic boost at the least without endangering yourself too badly. There's no ramp into your natural, which means that your opponent can move in pretty easily, so you have to be very careful in that regard not to let your opponent penetrate your natural. In that regard, I look forward to seeing whether we're going to see some sort of cheese or proxy or something, but don't see that coming, at least not from Free. Free's putting down his pylon, not setting out a scout right away. He's probably going to wait for his gateway to do so. Tazza's probably going to go for his own standard game. The game I saw against Medusa, he had pretty good Dragoon control. He had very nice shuttle control and Reaver micro, so we'll see what he does here. Gateway coming up for both players here, so we are going to see a standard game at least up to this point. We'll see whether that changes as the game progresses. This Tazza fan there with a PS message. I think it had a few hearts, so I can pretty much assume what that means. Win the match, Tazza, and come over to my place and have my babies. Right, Tazza is going to mine those minerals at the temples to make sure that Free cannot sneak in a probe. There's some sort of trick that involves apparently mining those minerals or something that lets you sneak into your opponent's base with a probe through those temples. I don't see gas going up for either player so far, so at least at this point they're just going to go straight up regular tech. We're going to see whether they put down their gateway or separate underscore first. That often shows what they're going for. Tazza actually put down his second pylon, go for a simulator. Free has had his gas going a little bit longer. He's mining gas pretty heavily, so it'll be very interesting. Non-Koreans there, being on TV and being idiots. For Zealot now out for Free, he's gonna make that probe run away. No higher tech going up for yet. First place, I do believe that's probably a cybernetics core going down for Free, and Tazza's probe is still alive, running circles around that Zealot. Zealot will not catch a probe. Cybernetics core going down for both players, so this is going to be standard PvP fare here. Free now finally sending out a scout very lately, and again they're focusing on that stupid foreigner there. Please go away, please stop it. Or was a Zealot also there scouting for Tazza. Tazza setting out a fairly late scout. Could be a bit risky if Free had decided to go for some sort of cheese, although Free's not that big of a cheeser, so he probably knew that and felt that doing what he did was fairly safe. Now there's a Zealot and a probe inside. We're going to see if he'll be able to use that probe and the Zealot to at least take out one probe. But no, that Zealot gets caught between 2 other Zealots and is gonna get taken down, yeah. Tazza trying to be a little aggressive there, trying to take down at least a probe, but I think it was far too risky with 2 Zealots there in the base. And it didn't end up working for him too well. That probe still running around. We're going to see, I think Tazza at this point is going to run it away with the Dragoon out. Freeze probe is also going to be run away fairly soon by that Dragoon. Dragoon range upgrading for Tazza and Free as well, I believe. That probe eventually going to run out of space to run, but trying to stay alive as long as it possibly can. So yeah, very standard gas, very standard game so far. Tazza has his gas a little bit later, so his upgrades were probably a little bit later, and probably not going to have quite as many Dragoons at the exact same time, but both players are upgrading Dragoon range, and we're just going to probably have the regular play. Although we're going to see whether somebody goes there. Free is going to go for a robotics facility, and a gateway after that, but apparently Tazza went for his second gateway before his robotics facility, so he's going to have a higher Dragoon count before he goes for Reavers. Going to try to get a decent Dragoon army count out there before he goes for Reavers. We're going to see how that pays off. He's going to be very careful. He hasn't scouted that robotics facility, although when you think about the fact that his standard fare is probably going to scout this, probably knows this is coming. Robotic facility on the way. Probe of Tazza is trying to move into scout again, dying there. 3 Dragoons are being moved out for Tazza. Going to see what he's going to do. There are 2 Dragoons and 2 Zealots in Free base. A 3rd Dragoon out, so Tazza's not going to be able to do anything with these Dragoons, although he's pumping more from those gateways. Going to see. Possibly going to try to put on some early pressure on Free. Also sending out a probe out there and sending several of his Dragoons back. He apparently saw that putting on pressures was not going to be too successful. Free's robotics facility is already ready. We're going to see what it pops down next. 2 pylons and robotics facility almost ready for Tazza. Probe moving out there, possibly to plant down another building. I don't see what kind of tech Free is going to go for next. Tazza, meanwhile, again moving in more Dragoons. There's 5 Dragoons there with all range upgrade, but Free has enough Dragoons to counter this, and there's a probe there moving in first, possibly to scout the amount of forces there, and as soon as that, probe moves in, see what's there, and the Dragoons instantly going to move back. Tazza just losing that early Zealot, not being able to even out the army count, and at a quick disadvantage. Free going for robotic support before he goes for the observers. So he's not going to bother that. Okay, never mind. Observatory has already been up there for a while, so Observer's already out at this point. Tazza just not going for his robotic support. I don't know if he's planning down an Observatory or not, but I think his robotic support will just be ready just after Freeze, because Free put down an Observatory first. Right, the robotics support's ready for both players. Shuttle now out for Tazza. Now he's going to go build that Reaver. So both players are going to have Reavers on the ground almost at exactly the same time. Free now positioning himself pretty well. There's a lot of Dragoons out there, a couple of Zealots as well to block shots against Tazza's Dragoons. And Tazza, I think, only has Dragoons and nothing else at this point. So we're going to see Reaver Micro and Reaver Harassment is going to be very important. Who is successful with his Reaver Harassment is going to pretty much make and break this game, I believe. Whoever has a good, successful Reaver Harass and prevents the opponent's Reaver Harass should be able to play the best here. Tazza putting down a pylon inside his mineral only, possibly getting ready for an expansion, putting down an observatory, hiding it there. Standard fare apparently these days to hide your observatory. Maybe it's simply to kind of fake out your opponent to not let him know whether you went observatory or robotic facility first. Scouting probe there get taken down. Shuttles with Reavers ready for both players apparently. Now we're going to have a battle in the middle. Tazza separating his forces, probably going to see if he can try to pinch her while Free moving out. Dragoons, engagement coming in here. Reaver coming down. Tazza moving a little bit back. Nothing but Dragoons and 1 Zealot on the ground, 2 Zealots on the ground for Tazza. First Reaver shot goes off. Second Reaver shot. Reaver shots. Oh, Zealots dying for Free. He has no Zealots to block anymore. But big Scarabs. They're taking down quite a few Dragoons. They're having a lot of Dragoons. Tazza now losing engagement. Both Reavers still alive, although more Dragoons on the ground. The Reaver of Free's almost dead though. Tazza's microing his own shuttle and Reaver very well, and now Free's Dragoons all completely dead. And that shuttle is not. No, that shuttle just manages to get away with almost no life, and his shield's completely decimated. While Tazza's shuttle still alive. Tazza having very good Reaver shuttle micro there, putting down 2 more gateways, another Reaver out there. So taking that engagement there. So we're going to see if he can keep up the pressure. Free still only at 2 gateways, not putting up more. He lost quite a few forces. Now he's going to meanwhile, use this chance to set up the natural expansion. And he only is going to be pumping for 2 gateways. Free's observer now moving in. He's going to see what Tazza's doing. Tazza has to be very careful not to overextend himself. He will need an expansion. I don't know if he took his mineral only or not. I think this is a pretty safe time to take an expansion just like Free did. Maybe instead just going to try to take a quick army advantage and push in before Free can get up an advantage. Tazza could also actually at this point move in with his shuttle and harass this main of Free's. That would be very, very good, I believe. And Free also needs, after losing that much army, he has to really quickly harass Tazza's economy, because Tazza has nothing but that main mining at this point, and if he takes that out, it's going to be pretty bad. 2 pylons being set up there, Reaver's moving in. Oh, Scarab going down, shooting, but just manages. Tazza really microing his shuttle and Reaver's very well, moving the receiver adjustment. It has to be very careful not to fall down. There's, oh man, gets off Scarab shots and moves that shuttle with those Reavers inside out of the way just before the goons can manage to shoot at that shuttle.